So I actually got to have the opportunity with my dad and with my brother-in-law to see hospice from the beginning to the end. And at that point, I just knew that I needed to be a part of that.
Welcome to Better Together podcast, produced and directed by our Hospice of South Central Indiana, a not-for-profit organization dedicated to making every moment count. We share real stories about hospice, palliative, and personal care provided in 22 counties all over South Central Indiana. I am your host and president, Steph Cain. Well, today our guest is Dennis Fogle. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dennis is our hospice board member and recently a volunteer as well.
Correct.
Yeah. So, Dennis, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I am a Decatur County native, and I spent a lot of time in the manufacturing world, a little over 30 years, and then ended my career at Decatur County Memorial Hospital, where I started out in HR, ended up doing physician recruiting, community relations, and things like that.
Wonderful.
So,
yeah. Now, we've served community members. We've had patients and family members in Decatur County for, almost 40 years. And we have an office there.
yes, it is.
So we take care of about 60 to 70 patients every day. So, in that
it's great.
area.
It's great having our hospice in Decatur County.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you for your service there.
Mm.
All right. So, Dennis, today I would like to talk about volunteerism. I know you're recently a volunteer. You're a volunteer board member, but also you volunteer with our patients and families most recently. So, what inspired you to begin volunteering that way and working directly with patients?
You in life, you hear about, people going through, tough times. And I know in the past I have seen what our hospice has done for family and friends. And so I actually got to have the opportunity with my dad and with my brother-in-law to see hospice from the beginning to the end. And at that point, I just knew that I needed to be a part of that. And I wanted to serve not just the community, but to serve friends and family. And like you say, make those last moments count.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a wonderful experience.
So we're so grateful for you. I would say, can you walk us through a typical volunteer visit? What that looks like?
Oh, yeah. I'll talk about one of my, I call them my hospice friends.
Okay.
That's what they are. They're
That's
my
right.
hospice friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one lady that I see, and she is just charming. She has good wit about her.
Okay.
And so, she just needs a friend.
Yeah.
And so I go in about once a week,
Okay.
spend 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it takes. We just sit and chat and laugh, and people come by the door going, "What are you people laughing at?"
Swap stories.
But yeah, we talk about family, we talk about the weather, we talk about life, and sometimes I just read.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful experience to be able to just sit with someone and just give them your time.
Yes.
That is so important.
What impact? And it makes you sometimes get more than
Oh,
you
I
get,
do.
for sure.
I do. When I leave, you're walking on a cloud. It's just fun. Sometimes those times are tough, though. Sometimes you go in and, there may be some illness or some things that aren't so good. So, sometimes it's just quiet time,
Mm-hmm.
just sit there and just share and just be there. Because sometimes even in those times, knowing someone is there with you means a lot.
Holding space together.
Yeah.
Now, I heard you say leave the door open or folks may walk by.
Uh-huh.
Do you go to homes or do you go to facilities as well?
Where I'm
Where they
going right now, they're in nursing homes.
Okay.
And so they each have their room, and couple of right now I'm seeing 4 friends.
Wow.
And I look forward to it every week. And so when I'm there, I usually, because I know a lot of the people that are there at the nursing home.
Yes.
So as they come by, they'll come in and see us too and talk. So it's been great. It's a wonderful experience.
It sounds like you build community as in a facility like that, right?
Yeah.
They see you come, it's a familiar face,
Right.
and everybody loves community. So
And,
maybe not everybody, but yeah.
yeah, but it's important. I think that they not only have their own little community inside that building,
Yeah.
but sometimes when we come in from the community,
Mhm.
it kind of makes them feel extra special.
So
It
good.
makes them feel special.
Now, I'm sure you have many stories. Can you share a patient's story? Maybe something inspired you or something fun?
It was funny. One of my clients, we decided we were going to read this book, and it was a small, simple book, and it was about the nativity,
Nice.
and it had a lot of things about the stories of the Bible and things like that,
Hmm.
and I thought, I mean, this lady's 94 years old, so
Yeah.
I thought, I said, would you like to read? And so I take the book in and we read a little bit, and it was really interesting because, here I'm reading, trying to be, the good giver of time and talent, and when we're finished, she starts asking me questions about the Bible and the books and things like that. Or did
Okay.
you knew this? And I go, oh, okay. Well, I wasn't quite expecting that,
Yeah.
So she puts me on my toes a little bit.
So wonderful.
But oh my gosh, we sat there and laughed. It
Have a
was
great
just
time.
wonderful. It was
And
wonderful.
you don't have to have all the answers. You can
No,
phone a friend.
no. Yeah.
You can tap.
I told her, I said, wow, you know your Bible, don't you? She said,
It's
well, don't you?
Yeah.
And you're going, oh, schooled by the 94-year-old.
Isn't that awesome? Mentoring each other is
Oh,
what
it's great.
happens.
It's a true relationship.
So good.
That's what's so important.
What's something that you wish more people understood about hospice care and then the role that volunteers play?
I think the idea, when a patient is in hospice, everybody thinks, oh my gosh, they're at the end of their life. They have cancer. Everybody that's in hospice has cancer, and that's not necessarily true.
Mm.
And so I learned a lot about that when I started being on the board and, looking around and seeing and hearing these stories here.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, wait, I want to be a part of that too. And so none of my hospice friends are diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
They just need someone, and they need attention,
Mm.
and they do have health problems, but not everybody has cancer. And that was a big thing. And as I talk to people, people don't understand that. They think everybody that's in hospice has cancer, and that's
Mhm.
not true.
Mm.
That's one of the biggest things that I have learned.
Hmm. And that can be scary,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Oh,
And
yeah, absolutely.
and walking with someone, at end of life or nearing end of life
Right.
can also be scary.
Yeah. It can be. I my brother-in-law passed
Mhm.
this last Easter afternoon, and I got to truly see hospice because I was taking him back and forth for treatments and things like
Mhm.
that. And all the way through to the very end, I actually basically moved in and lived with him because his wife was unfortunately ill and
Mhm.
being recuperated somewhere else.
Mhm.
And I got to see the true side of hospice from
Mhm.
very, very beginning to the very end. And they guide you, they helped me, they loved me. It was good.
It was
It was
good.
good.
And I had the honor to see you and be near you from a board member perspective,
Mhm.
but also saw you as you're going through that process, and I saw your confidence grow
Mhm.
with support of hospice and education. Even being that caregiver that you were.
Correct.
You're unsure of how to make someone comfortable, what to say, what to do. And as you said, like when hospice can come alongside
Yeah.
and support you through that, you just became so.
And sometimes that was just a telephone call at 2:30 in the morning
Yeah.
saying, okay, I don't know what's going on here. I need some help. And having someone there to walk you through that
Mhm.
was just wonderful. And I'd call back and say, or I text and say, it's okay now. We're okay. And it's just, you just know that they're there to help you.
You're not alone.
You're not alone at all.
Like,
And I think it made my brother-in-law, I think it helped him because he would, I'd say, the hospice nurse is going to be here in just a little bit for your appointment. And it seemed to calm him too.
Ah, of course.
So,
especially because he's like, you're my brother-in-law. What do you know?
I know.
But I just kidding.
Yeah. No, it's true. You had to build a pretty comfortable relationship there when you're, taking care of someone that's, in bed and can't get up.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a wonderful experience. I mean, I hate it. I miss him. But at the same time, knowing what we were able to do and how we could help him through that end phase of life was, I was very, very happy that I got the opportunity to do that. And I'm glad I was there for him.
Well, I am too. I'm so glad that we were there.
Yes, it was
together.
Great. It was great.
Yeah, yeah. And now that you have that experience, you can come alongside others in your volunteer role. We have many volunteers that do different things, and the volunteer at the bedside, or in next to you in the chair, or just companionship. Those are the ones that have such important stories to tell.
Right.
And so, yeah.
I know you always try to find, I'd like to see more volunteers. Sometimes we'll get emails, and say, hey, if you know a volunteer to help this, you don't have to be right by the bedside if that's something that you can't handle.
Yes.
Sometimes people don't want to do that.
Right.
But you can actually come in and, use the front desk, be at the front desk and let people in and out. That's important when you're down here trying to get, get in. So there's other things that you can do to help fundraise,
all
those things you can, help do that.
Yeah. And for those of you listening, we're sitting in our hospice center recording our podcast, and this is a 14-bed inpatient unit. And we also have families that bring their loved ones here for a respite. 4 or 5 days of respite. It could be every month. It could be just when you need a break. And there's some breakdown. Maybe there's a wedding or something as graduation, something you want to attend. You can bring your loved one here. And we have wonderful people like Dennis. We have volunteers and our staff that loves on them and just takes such good care of them. And then the caregivers get a break. And that's real.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you do need that break. They told me I would. I said, oh, no, I'm strong. I can get through this. And you need a break.
Love it. Wow. This has been really rich. I'm so glad that you came to visit with us and share some stories.
Sure.
And, would you share, has your perspective changed since volunteering a little bit relating to life and death?
That is a big question. I've always been God-fearing, and so you trust in the Lord. But after seeing and experiencing, death, if you will, through not only my brother-in-law, but a couple of other friends that I know hospice have been involved with, I don't have that fear. I know that they're going to help me through that.
Yeah.
And I know that they're going to make me, they're going to do everything they can to help my family. Because that's what I've experienced. And so it has made me look at things differently, because I would not be, if something would happen, one of my family members, even today, or myself, I would say, call hospice. They'll help us through this. They will help us through this. I will digress to a story. I had a good friend that found out she had cancer, had come home, and I went over there. All the brothers and sisters were there, and it was chaotic. It was just totally chaotic. People saying, oh, we got to do this. You got to. It was just, and I said, okay. So I go outside, get on the phone, and I call a lady that I knew in hospice, and I said, you really need to come over here. And she says, does the family want me here? And I said, oh, I'm sure they do. So she come over. I went there the next day, and it was as calm as can be, because they said, this is where you're at. This is what you need to do. And these are the things that we're going to help you with. And it was a wonderful, wonderful transition after that.
This is Better Together, a podcast dedicated to making every moment count. Thank you for listening. Please like us and share this episode on your social media channels. If you have a question and you would like to learn more about a specific topic, you can find us at www.ourhospice.org or call 812-314-8083. Until next time, remember we are better together, making every single moment count.